Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, where I, your host, Xavier Cruz, a lifelong wrestling fan, will take a lifelong friend through the action, the joys, and the drama of the world of professional wrestling. My co-host, Kelsey Silva, has been bitten by the wrestling bug, and I want to invite you to join us as I take her through the moments that made me a fan. So if you're new to wrestling and would like to get brought up to speed, or a fan who would like to relive some classic matches, promos, and segments through fresh eyes, join us as we embark on a journey through the Attitude Era and beyond. Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the March 31st, 1997 edition of Raw is War, and the match card is as follows. We had the British Bulldog taking on Owen Hart in a European Championship match. We had El Mosco taking on Supernova. We had Jesse James taking on Jerry Fox. We had the Nation of Domination taking on Adam O'Brien and Rod Bell. Goldust takes on Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and in our main event, we had Rocky Maivia versus Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship. All right, guys, just a little preface on this one. You're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. I had the privilege this weekend of working WWE World for WrestleMania 40 weekend.
So amazing.
So I will make a separate smaller video on our channel, kind of going into who I met and what I did and all of that fun stuff over this weekend. And I'll throw up some like pictures and whatever that I got. But it did involve me meeting a ton of people in the span of 5 days. So each day I was lucky enough to work the signing tables. So I was lucky enough to meet lots of wrestlers, past, present, and future. And it did, however, mean I was meeting about 1,000 people every day for the last 5 days. So if I'm a little bit dragon today, you're just gonna have to bear with me.
Yeah,
Doing
the
a little
social battery's
recoup. Oh yeah, my the battery is definitely depleted. But we got a show to do. So
Oh my God, so such a thrill.
it was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun, and for those of you that don't know, WrestleMania is my birthday present, or at least that's what I tell myself. So what better way to spend your 30th than getting to hang out with some wrestlers? It's pretty cool, pretty fun.
So cool.
All right. So let's get into this episode, guys. There's a lot of I feel like this one kind of just like was the getting all those loose strings episode. I don't know. This felt very like some chapters were closed, some factions were reformed, and some chaos is ensuing, as always.
I want to say like the icing was better than the cake in this episode.
I agree. It really was the stuff in between the matches that was really what kind of kept the episode moving. It was
For sure.
There was no 5-star classic, no ridiculous over the top, like you must see this one. But there was a lot of interwoven storylines that need to get pushed forward as we make our way onto the next pay-per-view. So we're going to get into those for the most part. The episode begins with a recap of last week, where Bret was airing out all of his grievances against America, that little scuffle with Shawn Michaels, a little war of words, only this time it was in black and white, and just to add the extra dramatic
So
flair.
dramatic. The music was had me dead.
Epic. Yeah, absolutely.
So great.
It was like somebody typed in just like give me suspense, and they were like, got it. Here
And
for
it worked. Oh my God, I was obsessed. Love the drama.
So in our opening contest, we had Owen Hart taking on the British Bulldog for the European Championship. Again, this is a continuation from last week where we know the boys finally have butt heads. Owen issued the challenge, the Bulldog accepted, and here we are. This one, I love to see these two fight always.
Oh my God, it's always amazing.
Anytime these two like get in the ring together, because they know each other so well and they're, so close, they are both incredibly athletic. It just always ends up being a classic between the two. Even though this kind of ended in chaos, the match itself, like you can't fault these two.
Oh my God,
they're just
they're
spectacular.
amazing. So good.
Owen Hart is clearly the aggressor in this match. He's clearly the one that's big mad. He before the match even begins, he throws the Bulldog into the ring steps and then picks him up and rams him into the ring post a few times
Ooh, it looked
before
terrible.
throwing the Bulldog into the ring, throwing himself up onto the top rope and performing like a I guess like a blind like cross body, where he just kind of like threw himself like backwards onto the Bulldog. This match was just amusing in that Bret was really he turned up that like extra brat on this one. There's one point where he's like punching the Bulldog like in the head and he's just like he's making me mad and you're like
Oh, Owen. Yes, yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah. And you know, Owen was just being Owen, just Owen things really.
Just hashtag just Owen things. Love him so much. Even when he walked out, he had both of his slammies and he said like two slammies, like two-time like title belt holder or like two
Mhm.
title belts. And I was like, technically you just have one right now.
Mhm.
That's why we're here. Like
Right,
because
right, right.
you potentially might have the other one. But
He's
I
calling
just
his
love
shot. He's
him.
calling his shot.
I know the brattier he is, the more I like it. What a sin.
I know. But I mean, it's because he's just living his character so hard. I love it.
Yeah.
So really Owen for the better part of this match is kind of like outmaneuvering Bulldog. He's really like making the Bulldog's like strength advantage like a moot point. He's really just kind of
Mm-hmm.
out wrestling the Bulldog for the most part.
Yeah.
But we do get into this one point in the match where the Bulldog puts Owen into a sharpshooter,
Crazy.
which of course, which is the Hart specialty, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
Owen gets out of it real quick because he's not
Real
about
quick.
to be just embarrassed by having to tap out to his own move.
That would
Uh,
be crazy.
right, hits
God.
the Bulldog with a vicious insecurity, like flips the Bulldog like all the way inside out.
I
Uh,
mean,
they take it to fight on the outside. The Bulldog suplexes Owen on the ring, like the ring ramp, just on the way down, and you're just like,
mm-hmm.
"Ooh, that's
Owie.
there's no good way to fall on a metal ramp. Like there is
No,
no
not at all.
right.
Even
Uh,
delicately, if you were just like, it's
no,
still
it's
painful.
still gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
There is no nice way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so they eventually make their way back in the ring. They're tussling. Owen throws Bulldog into the ropes. The Bulldog ends up taking out the referee, and then
So
that
hard.
like poor Earl. Or
Like,
it was like a car crash. He hit
it
Earl with full
was.
force, knocked his ass out of the ring. Just
And the
straight
only
shot.
reason we know Earl is not dead is because he comes out and refs the last match. I think that was Earl.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
way
yeah.
we know he's not dead because they literally, this man gets projectiled out of the ring
Mm.
and then they just leave him for dead. They never, no one ever comes out. No one ever says anything. Nothing had just Earl. I go, are they just gonna leave? Because like a lot of events ensue and like 5 minutes later, I just go to Xavier. I'm like, are they just gonna like, is anyone gonna come out and get Earl or they're just gonna leave him to die there? And Xavier goes, oh no, they're gonna leave him to die there. And I was like,
Right,
oh,
right.
okay.
Right. We
So,
gotta remember in the hierarchy of needs, the ref is pretty
so
low.
what a terrible poor Earl. But he came back out. He said, I'm here to get a check and I gotta ref this other match. So I guess I'm up.
Amen. So after the ref has been taken down, Owen decides he's gonna go grab a steel chair. He's like, all right, but now it's time to cut those corners, get that championship, get that extra bread. So he's doing his thing. He comes over and starts like he's gonna attack the Bulldog. The Bulldog knocks it out of his hand. They're like feuding, and then all of a sudden, Bret Hart comes down, and you're like,
Uh,
what is happening? Because Bret has wanted nothing to do with either of them
I'm
for
saying.
months and
Yep.
months and months. Honestly, years, if we're being more accurate.
Being so real, yeah.
So he comes out and he's like trying to like break the two up, and they're clearly just like not about it. Like they're fighting like over Brett. They're shoving
Hmm.
each of them are shoving Brett out of the way. It is very much just like a sibling fight, is what it looks like. Like it is,
So
you know
hardcore.
what I mean? Because there's just as much shoving as there is just like annoyed yelling at each other. There's
Fully. It really gave like oldest breaking up the middle and the youngest,
mhm.
or
Right,
some order of hierarchy there. Like it
right,
was
right, right.
really, it's like you want to see them fight and you understand why they're mad at each other, and but you have to like, all right, like get back.
So basically, Bret like grabs a microphone and he's like, "Wow, like why are we fighting? Like this is all of the fans' fault. Like the fans are the ones that have turned like or have
Girl.
torn this like family apart. They don't appreciate family like values in America. And like so they've turned us against each other." He's like he goes like Bret he goes to the Bulldog and he's like, "We fought on like the grandest stage at like Wembley Stadium because they had
Mm,
like a crazy match for the Intercontinental Championship that the Bulldog ended up winning like in his
mhm.
home country. It was a big deal. It was a whole thing." And Owen and Bret have obviously had their feuds. They've had multiple matches where they have faced each other, including one that opened up WrestleMania 10. And so they have a long documented feuds, but he's like, "But I need you guys. I need your help."
Oh my
Um,
god.
so you kind of like you're like, "Oh, like what is this about?" And then Brett starts like really like pulling on those like heartstrings. He's like turning to like his little brother. He's like, "I love you, Owen." Owen starts sobbing like immediately.
Immediately.
Like
Ah,
immediately. And which honestly same. And so
same.
literally gets told one nice emotional thing, breaks down. And so um so he's like I need you guys, like we are like supposed to be a family. Like basically this is the reformation of the Hart Foundation. The Hart Foundation included the members you see before you, as well as Jim Neidhart, who is another brother-in-law
I
essentially.
see.
Yeah. So
Girl.
they were, big in the early part of the 90s. Um, they, went their separate ways. All of these feuds between them have ensued since then, and this is them kind of reforming, but now they are the heels. They're bad guys. So this is kind of a variation of what we had kind of known before, which is pretty cool.
Very exciting. So I've never seen the Hart Foundation.
No,
Didn't
this
know
is your
this was a
first time.
thing. This, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really into this angle.
Yeah.
I'm really into this because you know me, like any sort of family thing, I'm all about. I'm all about
Hmm.
like the ties, what the ties that bind, the ties that break us, the coming
Right.
back together, but it's woven with different fabric. Like I'm all about that storyline, especially because and it's funny when we were watching this, like watching Bulldog and Owen fight, I literally was like, you know what's so crazy? I always go on and on about how I wish they did the brother angle with Bart and Billy. And I'm like, it is weird that they don't do as much brother stuff with Owen and Bret, or like they haven't in a long time. And
Hmm.
then literally Bret came out and I was like, oh, okay. Like great.
Yeah.
Like
I
because I love to see it. I love to
and I will
see
say
it.
like that is in part because of where we started this
Right,
show.
right,
Like you
right.
missed a good chunk of their feud, or
Right.
like the main part of their feud. And we will have to go back and watch that match because it is a classic. It
I
is
would
a
love to.
classic.
But yeah,
As far as
I'm
like
really into this.
yeah, as far as like
Sorry.
WrestleMania matches that you like need to see and haven't yet, it's Brett versus Owen and Brett versus Shawn, the Iron Man match. Also Shawn versus
Mm.
Razor Ramon in a ladder match also
Ooh,
was really
you know
really
I
good.
love a ladder match. You know I love
So
a ladder
we got
match.
a list of stuff we gotta go back to, but this Attitude Era train is rolling and we're
I'm
on. So
excited. I'm kind of excited to see and like especially the feud with Bulldog and Owen, it's like yes, you want to see them fight, but I like when they are together also. Like they're just
hmm
such an amazing tag team and so the three of them together like I'm kind of into it. I don't know how it's going to go in terms of like cuz you know Owen loves to be like I'm the leader and like Brett is like no
obviously the
girl, like
leader.
I'm the
Right.
leader. Yeah, so I'm
Right.
curious. I'm curious how the dynamic will go, but for the minute, it's very thrilling to me, I won't lie.
No, I'm here for it. So Brett like hugs them all. They make their way to the back.
Hi
In our
girl.
next match, we have El Mosco taking on Supernova. They are both of the AAA organization in Mexico, and this match has Sunny on commentary, which essentially pulls focus from the entire match as Sunny
Yeah.
won to do. So basically, this match is supposed to be presented to us to give the AAA wrestlers a platform, but what we have essentially done is just given Instead of just giving the two Latin American wrestlers in the ring the platform, we've just given it to the white lady on commentary. So we
Wow.
are
The white
just
lady on commentary who's pretending that she knows Spanish, which was just to really twist the
extra
knife.
uncomfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing more cringe as a Hispanic person than watching somebody just absolutely fumble the language and think it's cute. It's not cute. I appreciate that you want to, try and connect if that's what you're trying to do. But there are better ways to do it.
Yeah.
So let's work on that, WWF.
Period. And you know what else is why it's also not cute? It's because like we don't think it's well, we, not us, but like a lot of people don't think it's cute when non English speakers fumble the English language. We really ridicule people for that. So then to come back and like make like Spanish like funny and a joke like you can't speak it is just like
Mm,
okay. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it's just like tired. But essentially, I couldn't really tell you any details of the match because we literally spent more time on looking at Sunny on commentary and then looking at Sunny on the Spanish commentary table and then making Jerry upset because she had left his table to go to the other table because apparently he's all of 6 years old. And yeah, so it was just kind of awkward flirting from the Spanish commentators with Sunny, mostly because she doesn't understand Spanish and they were trying to like make light of the fact that she was there by like trying to speak with her in Spanish, but it was just like awkward because they'll be like asking her like a legitimate question and then she'll just not be able to answer because she doesn't speak Spanish. So it's just really
Mm,
uncomfortable.
mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, El Mosco wins the match. Don't know how, but Jerry's upset, which is apparently the main story here.
Yeah.
And we're moving
And
on.
amen. Amen to that.
So, next we have the Legion of Doom interview with Jim Ross.
Love.
This one's, just short, sweet, to the point. Of course, we got to get that LOD entrance, because it just has the entire arena in a fit every time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
they come out and basically they go, first of all, Bret Hart, don't you dare insult America. Like they were just like, first and foremost, let's deal with that. And basically they were just like, we're taking those titles. I don't know why you think any other conclusion is what's going to happen, but you're
Yeah.
mistaken. We're going to kick the crap out of you, and we'll be glad to do so. And
Yep.
that's basically the Legion of Doom in a nutshell.
Love them.
Right. Me too. So that's good. That's a match I'm very excited to see, especially now that we have Owen and the Bulldog on like the
The
same
same team
page
again.
again. Because literally, if they were still in the middle of this like feud, it as much as I would have loved it, Legion of Doom would have just like walked through them.
Yeah, like
Uh,
steamrolled them.
but now that they are on the same page again, we have a little bit more of a fighting chance.
Yeah, because I don't necessarily want it to be like just a like one team gets flayed. Like I
Mhm.
you want to see like a legit fight, like a
Right,
good back and forth. So very, very exciting. And I love that LOD's just like, okay, like I
right.
don't care if they're united or torn apart, or I'm still gonna rip them to shreds. And I think they said something about like we're gonna knock the doggy cakes out of the dog
Yeah,
biscuits out of Bulldog or something, which
yeah,
is just funny to me.
yeah. It was
But
just it was silly.
love them a
Um,
lot.
so next we have the Honky Tonk Man coming out for commentary because it was kind of bandied about that like he has to make a selection. He's tired of watching matches. He's tired of looking at the footage. He needs somebody to represent him. So
Mm.
Jesse James comes out singing that theme song, but the weird part about this episode was that he was just accompanied by a random child who
An
was apparently his
unidentified child.
guest manager. What does that mean? Why
Is
is
that
this
your kid
child
or
out here?
not? Are you the father? Maury, get in here.
Right. It was just like he just like had just walked the child to the ring essentially.
And then
Um
kicked him out. And this kid looked terrified for his whole life. He
right.
was just
Fully looked
not
like he did
clearly
not
not
want to do
enjoying
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No
Jesse James
thanks.
was taking on Jerry Fox, who was already in the ring, therefore we know this is a squash match.
Mm-hmm.
So it ends fairly quickly. Uh Jesse James finishes off with his like pump handle slam, calls it a day, and the Honky Tonk Man comes into the ring with his little fancy guitar, and he's like, "You have all the tools. You
I
can
knew it.
sing, you can dance. Like, can you play guitar? This guitar has been in like my family for generations, and it has like built stars and whatever he's going on and on about. So he hands over the guitar to Jesse James, and Jesse James is like acting all stunned about it. He's like, "Well, golly gee, Honky, I just don't know what to say." And he takes that guitar and smashes it to smithereens. I'm talking first strike on floor, complete combustion of guitar, just
Deceased.
shrapnel. It was amazing. And Kelsey
Incredible.
has never, I don't think, I don't want to speak for you, but I will say, I don't know if you've known vindication like this.
I have to say, a lot of beautiful things happened for me this episode. A lot of people got punched in the face that I really wanted to, but this was, I want to say, even though there's a really good one we'll talk about, but like this was a good one. I
Mhm.
mean, because I want to say, clock it, clock the record. I knew he was gonna go after Double J. I was like, this is the only match that makes sense. He's the only wing ding who freaking sings. He's the
Mhm.
only like whatever. I was like, it doesn't make sense because we never see this man.
Mhm.
But whatever, like I just know it has to be him.
Right.
And I literally I'm watching this and I was like, Double J, redeem yourself in my eyes right now.
No,
Redeem
literally.
yourself in my eyes right now and tell him no, sir. No. But
Mhm.
instead of telling him no, he just destroyed the guitar, which is even better. It's just it's so good. Smashed it. Honky Tonk Man was speechless because he thinks he is the just, the king on God's green earth. And he was like, this cannot be happening to me because of course, why would you ever say no to me? I'm the Honky Tonk Man. But like he smashed the guitar and then he goes, just a little Jesse J just takes the mic and goes, sorry, Honky Tonk Man, it's a little out of tune for me. Mic drop. Peace.
Leaves. Yeah, walks up the ramp, turns back, smacks his ass, leaves.
Boop boop. I I have to say, there's a lot of people who are redeeming themselves in my eyes. Like
Mhm.
Triple H at the Slammies when he said, "Look at it, wish you had it, eat your heart out." I was like,
Right.
I'm now a fan of Triple H. I've
I
never
get it.
rode harder for anyone in my life. Same thing with Jesse J. Jesse
Right?
J. This is what I wanted. This is what I needed. I feel like my soul has re-entered my body.
Amen.
I'm
Amen.
just so grateful. Thank you for this moment. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Next, we have another squash match in the form of the Nation of Domination taking on Adam O'Brien and Rod Bell. Fun fact for all of you people that are not necessarily new, but keep up with whatever's going on in today's world. Adam O'Brien becomes Adam Pierce, who is the current general manager of Monday Night Raw. Super, super fun fact.
Stop.
So no, literally. Um,
No.
because I was looking up the matches on the card earlier, and I was like Adam O'Brien, I don't know who that is, and like I looked at it and I like clicked on his name, and I was like, oh snap, yeah, it is the current general manager of Raw. So what a fun little full circle moment, seeing him in
That
his
is
little squash
so
matches.
I love that. Wait. Never mind. I was gonna say something inappropriate, but
Go ahead.
he has a great ass.
Oh yeah, 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 good for him.
I
Yeah,
literally was
yeah,
like, he's the one with I was gonna say he's the one with the great ass, right? And then I was like, oh, and I was like, but he is. Like
but he
it
is.
was great. It was really I literally was like, he has a great like butt to thigh ratio.
Love that,
Like
like
his
a
ass
turkey
isn't
leg
like humongous, but he's got like a great
shape.
shape. Yes. Oh my God, thank you.
Love that, love that.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, we respect you, Adam. Sorry.
So basically, this was a squash match for the nation. They are currently leaderless, so they're just like, we
Running
don't have,
amok.
without Farouk at this point, the nation doesn't really have a point. So this was just kind of like a, here, we'll just feed him this random tag team, just to keep him going until Farouk comes back from his injury.
Yeah.
But we did get a phone call with our boy Shawn Michaels.
Sweetheart.
And basically he kept it like pretty short. They asked him about how that felt, basically being in the figure four leg lock from Bret, and he's like, I'm pretty sure me like hollering in pain probably gave it away. It didn't feel great.
I love
like
him. He was like,
like
me screaming in agony should probably paint the picture for you, but it wasn't great. Like I just
right. It was not great. And basically then they go, um and they ask him like if he has anything to say to like Bret Hart. And he's like, oh, I've got tons to say to Bret Hart, but I'm not gonna do it over the phone. He's like, So I will be there next week and I'll say what I need to say to Bret himself. And then he hangs out.
Iconic.
I love that. I love that
I
he's
love
just
that.
like I'm not gonna do this like little gossip hour with you. Like I'm just gonna say it to him.
I love that. I
Much
love that
respect.
energy. He's like, I'm gonna say it to his face, not like I'm not gonna three-way call you and Jerry and
Right.
give you the goss. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just deliver the goss, hot, piping, and ready for
Right.
Brett. Love
And
that.
then he's like, "Bye." I love that he hung up on them. I just thought it was such a like power move, you know?
Oh, it was amazing. Jerry was a shook. He was like,
Oh,
wait, I had things to say. And it's like, well, too bad, girl, line
well, too,
disconnected.
that's right. You could tell it to the Ethernet cable,
Yeah, tell tell it to
the phone jack.
the operator, because he's not answering. Bye.
Bye. Ugh, love that man. Can't
Love
wait to
that
see what
guy.
he has to say next week.
Mm,
We get uh a little recap on the happenings of Ken Shamrock. They go into like how he basically taught Billy Gunn a little wrestling lesson, his involvement in the Bret Hart Stone Cold Steve Austin match.
hmm
And basically he's become so popular that they're going to have a no holds barred exhibition next week, like with Ken Shamrock. So
I
here we
can't wait to
go.
see who his victims are. Like, is he just going like demonstrating
I
submission moves on people?
I don't know, but no holds barred in WWF usually means chaos. So we'll see.
Like Stone Cold has to come out and give him like the
The
something,
sauce,
right? The
right? Because
sauce,
like
yeah.
he's still big mad that Ken Shamrock called the match. So
Yeah, he is big pissed. Love that.
can't wait to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Because if it's more of the hottie boo body, then I'm here for it. Thank you.
Yeah, the fit better be right. I'm just saying because you can't bring me to the peak of Mount Everest with that beautiful little ref outfit and then take me back down to like baggy sweatpants. Like I'll be very upset. I mean, I
No.
can get into baggy sweatpants
No, yeah,
in a certain
obviously.
way. I'm not
Right,
crazy.
right.
But like, you know what I mean? Like
No,
the
no,
fit
no.
better be right. I'm just saying.
No, I understand. I was like, do not grace me with beauty and then dump a frock on me. I'll be pissed. I'll be so upset.
Not the frock.
I will be livid. Oh,
Frock is like the not the worst thing to me.
yeah, because it's only used by like wizards. Like, I'm pretty sure the
Wow.
last
Expel
time
Aramis.
I like heard the
Oh.
word frock like out in the wild is in Wicked.
Oh my God. I think the last time I heard the word frock is like when I watched Bridgerton. Like I
Oh my god.
something.
Oh,
Or maybe like the last time I watched Sound of Music. Like I don't know.
amen. Shout out to the procs. Anyway, that's crazy.
That's it.
That's absolutely insane and means nothing.
Just so you know, that was totally meaningless. It's not like the frocks are like, hey.
The tits
I
on
never
frocks not on my bingo card for this episode, but okay.
I never know what it's gonna be. Like there's always gonna be something that like you like never forget the Funkettes like go back to a nest. I was like, what? Like where? What a journey we take. I never know what it's gonna be, but I always know it's
It's a
gonna make me
ride.
laugh and it's gonna be delightful.
Oh, amen.
Wow, frocks.
So
Let us know if you guys want to see new to wrestling merch frocks. So
that purple and black.
if you're trying to wear the NTW frock, let us know.
What would that even entail? I can't. Oh,
Ooh, gotta take
hey,
it to the what do you call it?
the what?
The what do they call it? The meetings, like where they like taste test things. A focus
Oh,
group. Take it to the
yes,
focus
the
group.
focus
Okay,
group.
sorry.
No, 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 no.
Too
You're
far. Now
good.
it's too far.
Bring
Bring it back. Bring it back.
it back.
Bring it back to explosion, contusion, concussion.
Oh my God, Vince today with the like just man adjectives. That's how I'm gonna just describe them. Is when he opened the show, what did he say? Do you have it written?
I do. Mortars, rockets, bombs.
Right. And
That's
then
it.
to open the second hour, he said
Explosions, contusions, concussions.
I listen. I told Kelsey during the episode that we were watching. It sounds like Axe body spray got their entire campaign from
From
Vince.
from
Like
Vince McMahon.
anything that they like, any product that they make that is essentially a unisex product that they just make for men by
Mm,
adding words like adventure and like primal, and you're like,
yep.
this is stupid and we're dumb for falling for it. It was just
Yeah.
that.
Shh, 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 shh.
It
Yeah.
was just that. We were just like, oh, like
Fully.
this is for men because they're using explosions and mortars.
Contusions. Yeah. Mortar. Like unbelievable. Concussions.
Right.
Concussion as an expletive is hysterical. Just concussion.
You're just
Like, like, are
um,
you casting a spell? Like, what
right.
is this?
No, 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 no. We are ill. So,
Unreal.
we finally get a continuation on Paul Bearer begging
I hate him.
and pleading
Weasel.
and just there is nothing like a gold digging snake to just
Girl,
come out and ruin everybody's day. So Paul Bearer
thank
comes out
you.
and he's like, I've made a mistake.
Ugh.
But he's like, but it was all for you, Undertaker. It was all for you.
You just said you made a mistake.
Baby girl, you were actively attacking this man with just increasingly larger and larger psychopaths.
Swear to God.
But it was all so that the Undertaker could become his own man. Right, 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 right.
Right. Right.
And now and this and the like the thing that gets me is like, if you're gonna like be a gold digger, like give me like make me like catch me unawares. You know what I mean? Like if you're
Hmm.
gonna play that game, like at least be good at it. You know what I mean?
That's a
Also,
really good point.
like
Sneak in.
no, because
Sneak
literally
in.
his next sentence is like, and now you have the WWF championship, which is like, we all know that's why you're here, Paul.
That make it
We
more obvious, please.
right. We all know. You're not sorry. You're not sorry. You want that extra bonus check that being with the champion gives you.
Uh,
We all
uh,
know. We all know.
I'm saying unbelievable.
Ugh. So
Disgusting.
the Undertaker makes his way out. For some reason, there's like a casket just on the outside. Again, not uncommon with the Undertaker, but just kind of oddly out of place just with this segment, because it's not like we're like headed towards a casket match. We're not like, I don't know. So it
Yeah.
was just kind of
It
a
was
weirdly
weird.
placed casket. The Undertaker comes out and like with a casket key, like locks it, because apparently like we're not having any of that today. Goes in, and he just the first words out of his mouth are betrayal, and you're like,
I
what
literally was
the
like,
fuck?
I
Amazing. No, literally though. Like
was like,
such a like it was just so deep and so like, oh my god, he's calling him out for his shit
oh,
immediately.
so
Live for it.
thrilling. Obsessed.
So but he really like has us going because he's like, I may be able to forgive.
He's like, I'll
Um
never forget. And I was like, that's right. And he goes, but I might be able to forgive. And I was like, no, go back.
take
Don't
it
do
back.
this. Shh.
And he really sells it because like he goes and he hands Paul Bear like the WWF championship like in his hands. And it's just like Paul Bear is like drinking it in. He really thinks he did something there. So the Paul Bear is like turning around. The Undertaker, as soon as Paul makes his way around that 360, bops him right in the face, takes him
Hmm.
down. It was
Bitch.
beautiful. It was
So
beautiful.
good.
Finally, this was exactly what we've been looking for.
I
These are the
ascended.
loose strings we have been talking about. He has not
Hmm.
been able to get his hands on Paul this entire time. The entire since SummerSlam of last year, he has not been able to actually put hands on this man. And he knew this was his opportunity. He said, "This little snake is groveling. I'm gonna make him think I'm gonna give it to him, and then I'm gonna sock him." It
It
was
is just the best because you just know he's standing there and he knows what he's gonna do. So he's watching Paul Bear be like, I made a mistake and like
right. Just
la la la, take me back. And he's just like
mm-hmm.
plotting, scheming,
Mm-hmm.
waiting, laying in wait. I
Mm.
just And then just socks him, right? And he literally is like, his hands are full. He can't even put his hands up to defend himself because his hands are full with the
Right.
title belt that he got without you.
Right.
You got to hold that. It's the only time you're ever going to hold it.
Right.
That's it.
I
That's
hope you
it.
enjoyed it. I hope
Enjoy
I
it.
hope it was worth it.
And then enjoy this black eye that I just gave you.
Amen. So Mankind, of course, who we thought was going to be like real pissed at Paul
Yeah.
for like just absolutely ditching him, which we should address. Mankind, he done did left you high and dry. Just
Sweetie.
he said, I don't need you anymore. I don't know you. I'm going back with my other mans. I've never met you. This was a mistake. And
Unreal.
like fully, and then Mankind comes crawling out from under the ring. Granted, he is the number one contender, so he was probably going to do it anyway. But
Right.
it looks like he's coming to the defense of Paul, and who wants that? Nobody.
Nobody asked for that,
But Mankind does something that shocks us all when
girl.
he throws essentially like a fireball. How he did that, I'll never know. Uh,
No,
in the Undertaker's face, and it looks like they replayed it like a bunch of times. Like it is like in his face.
it's
Like
for sure in his face.
I'm blown away by how they did this.
Zero regard for the eye sockets. Because they were outside the ring. Paul, like, which first of all, Undertaker grabbed the whole urn with one hand, which hot. Like, just
Right.
was like, And he's gonna like smash Paul over the head with it. And then Mankind comes out and he's like, boop, boopy doo. And you think Undertaker's getting the jump on him because he goes to smash Paul, and it's like he had like the intuition that Mankind's on him. And he goes to turn, and
Mm,
like Mankind just
right.
like right in the face. It was
Yeah.
really
He really
crazy.
said rot rot like a dungeon dragon. He like like fully just blew a fireball in this
Oh
man's
my
face
God.
like it was
No.
normal. Like as if this was just like a part of his character
He's a
he's been doing the
barb
whole
girl.
time.
Unreal. Oh my
um
God.
not Mankind being a barb, that's
Oh
crazy.
my per. I mean,
Oh,
wow. Like a
so
dungeon dragon.
so
Very upsetting.
right. So the Undertaker's just like blind and stumbling like all over the place. Psycho Sid comes out and like chases Mankind like out of the arena, which is so random. Like
So random.
make it make sense. Like I'm confused.
The only thing, and this is a stretch, is like because Undertaker helped Sid during the cage match, but because he wanted a title shot.
Right.
Like he helped keep Bret in and like slam the door in his face. So
Right.
he, but then like, so that he could take the title from you.
Right.
So,
I don't know.
so it don't make no sense to me.
No, it's weird. And
Really
then
weird.
we get uh we catch Psycho Sid backstage, which is usually not that helpful as far as
No, I was
logic and thought processes and whatnot. But basically he's like, Mankind, like you want to play with fire, you're dealing with somebody who knows how to deal with fire. And I was like, there's again, when there's the phrase that's like right there, and then you just don't say the phrase. Like, you're just like, okay.
okay.
But basically, he just goes on to be like, The Undertaker was like the better man at like WrestleMania. And then he's like, I don't get, I don't understand how he connects them. Like, I really don't. But basically, he tells Mankind that he's going to burn in hell. And then that's kind of the end of the promo. And then
It
we're all left confused.
I don't get it because like I just don't get it. I don't get
Like,
it.
why
Why
are
are
you
we
coming to help? Like, I don't get why you would want to help any of this.
all
Like,
of a sudden Undertaker's the better man than you? And like he is. But I where is this coming from? Are you a reform did like a concussion like change your perspective? The medulla oblongata? Like
right. What happened?
what
What
happened?
happened?
I'm really confused. I don't understand it. Hopefully it's explained. I don't know though, because it's Psycho Sid. So even if he tries to explain, you're often left more confused than you
Right.
started.
I agree.
So I guess we'll see.
So yeah, honestly, we'll see. Um, Next, we have Goldust taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley, a rematch from WrestleMania 13. Only
Mm,
this time, managers are banned from ringside. So
mm,
no China, no Marlena. Goldust comes out swinging.
swinging.
He came in with the heat. He literally, first strike is with his wig. he takes his wig and just like slaps Hunter like across the face with it and then just starts wailing on him. It's
I
so
love it.
funny. Which is
It's so great.
like it's exactly how that man should rage.
Thank you.
It
I'm
is it
saying.
is wig flown
uh, at all costs, for
and
whatever reason, by any means necessary.
I love it. I love it
It's
so much.
great.
Um, Jerry has been just crying on commentary all night. I don't know what his deal was, but he did say at one point, he's like listing off all of these things that like happened to him, like Sunny like leaving the table. And then he's like, the Easter Bunny left me no basket this
Which
weekend,
was
which was just like so
hysterical.
absurd.
Oh my god,
Um,
so good.
and then at one point he's like they're talking about how he's suddenly like agreeing with like Bret Hart. And he's like, well, it's because Bret Hart's finally like seen like the light. And he's like talking about like America. He's like, the country that gave you the Civil War. And you're like, what, Jerry? Like, okay.
Honestly, took me out. Like, because Bret Hart's whole thing right now is like boo boo America, whatever.
Hmm.
And they're like, what do you mean? Don't say that about America. And Jerry's like, America, the country that gave us the Civil War?
Right.
Like he's like, me? Support that? Not me. Never in my life. Would never
So,
support the
oh my
Civil
God. I
War.
just love what a fake flip-flopping bitch he is.
I
It's so
Oh
funny.
my god, that really took me out. I was crying because also that's almost like a meme thing today where it's like, you want me to support that, the person that gave me whatever. Like it's almost like
Right.
a thing today too,
Right.
which so it's just so funny. You want me to support America, the country that gave us the Civil War?
He's like
So
that.
funny.
He's like that's crazy of you,
That's couldn't be me. Couldn't be
honestly.
me, but whatever.
So the match is like continuing. Hunter cannot put away Goldust. He's getting like more and more frustrated about him and his great hair. He just
I
can't.
love.
He just can't handle it. So the match is continuing, and then we hear on commentary, "Well, look who it is." And then we
Mm,
go and we see
I knew it.
China,
Hi
top of
girl.
the apron, just looking. She's like, I don't want to. It's not like statuesque, I guess is how I want to
Yeah.
put. She's unmoving, just like looks like she's made of stone, just mean mugging, just
Yeah.
doing her China thing.
Love.
Um, so the match is continuing in the ring, and it looks like Goldust is going to pick up the victory. He hits Hunter Hearst Helmsley with the curtain call, goes to cover. China runs into the ring and hunts that man in the ribs like she was
So
putting a
hard.
football through the uprights. It was crazy. It was like honestly, like if his organs were outside of his body, they would have just been clear into the crowd. Just she would have just been launching them like into like the upper decks. Like
I'm
it
amazed like his
nuts.
kidney didn't shoot out the other side. Like
That's what I'm
in an
saying.
old school like kung fu movie where they get like punched in the back and their heart like explodes out of their chest.
Right.
But it was that hard and that like it made that much contact. I legit expected his like just
No, just
lung
oh, it
gone.
was crazy. She kicked him so hard. And then it was just chaos from there.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
all of
god.
the referees come out to try and like separate all of the two. They're like pushing like China like off of it. Pat Patterson comes out and he gets into it with Triple H at one point. Triple H
Pat
like
Patterson with the
hits Pat,
hands.
and then Pat's like, excuse me, I think you're forgetting who you're messing with. And he's like, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Pat Patterson, and comes back just with the smoke. Like it was
Amazing.
crazy.
Oh,
I was like, Pat with the sweaters? Okay,
Pat, I
man.
swear to God, Pat was in his like athleisure wear and he like gets knocked over and I'm like, oh man, I hate when they knock over Pat. And Pat was like, me too, and gets up and is like,
No,
bah,
literally.
bah.
Oh, it was so
So
good.
good. I love Pat.
Mm,
Love Pat.
amazing. So at one point, um, then they China comes and smacks Pat from behind, and then the two of them are just beating on poor
So
poor
upsetting.
Pat.
Poor Pat.
Goldust breaks free, attacks Hunter again, and then knocks him out of the ring. And then it's just Goldust and China left in the ring, and all of the referees are holding back Goldust. Like they're
Bro.
not. They are literally just like, I think he might strike her. Like, and honestly, he might.
He might be. Okay, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like they keep going like, he can't hit a woman, he can't hit a woman. And it's like, and not to compare, but girl, they're pile driving women over at ECW. Like
Right.
they're literally throwing them. And I'm
Right.
not saying that's like right or wrong, but it's like she's putting the paws on you.
Right.
Like we might have to put the paws on her. I don't know. She wants to be here. And Jerry actually said it. He goes, listen, if you enter that ring, you just have to understand, like, you might get hit.
Right.
You have to fight or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, okay, Jerry.
That's how it rules. That dems the breaks, baby. Like, hello.
I'm saying,
You
really,
can't
really,
just do whatever you want, no consequences, just because you're a woman. That's not how it works in the ring. Like, you're
and not in
nuts.
the ring,
Not
not in
in
the
the
square
ring.
circle.
Mm-mm.
And also it's crazy at one point because all the referees were on China at one point, and she literally goes like this, and like all four get like full like
Flung.
flung.
She just flexes them off of her
She
like
just goes
flies.
bink, psh.
No,
And so
yeah,
then they're almost like, you know what? Let's block Gold Dust instead because I'm
right.
not getting thrown by this woman again. Like once is
Mm.
quite enough for me. But
So
I don't know,
he
something's got to give.
something's got to give here because I don't know where this is leading, but specifically in like this feud, because it's not like Marlene is gonna suit up and start swinging. Like
I wish.
same,
She's so
but
little
like
though.
I can't imagine it, you know?
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Not.
So next we have the Stone Cold interview with Vince McMahon. We haven't seen
Wow.
Stone Cold since WrestleMania 13, and this is his time to air out them grievances. Basically, he goes and talks about how he never said I quit in that match. He says Ken Shamrock could have 10 hearing aids taped to his fat head and he will have a hard time hearing it because I never said it.
Period.
And you're like, "Oh, oh." Basically he's like he goes on to be like, "Oh, Bret Hart is like talking all this trash about how he like kicked my ass, this, that, and the other, beat me to a bloody pulp." He's like, I hit my head on a railing. I don't know what you're talking about. Like that you did. And
Oh
basically just
God.
undercutting anything that Bret did in
Everything.
that match, which is hilarious and totally 100% Stone Cold. Um, he's like, Bret, you're the biggest, biggest whatever
Piece of trash.
piece of trash I've ever seen. Um, basically he's just like, oh, and if you're listening like in the back and you're not crying right now, why don't you put on a fresh pair of panties and get your ass out here because I'll
Girl.
kick your ass right now. And
Not the
then
fresh pair of panties.
I know that's fucking crazy.
Crazy.
Whatchamacallit, Brett then shows up on the Titantron because that's our new favorite move.
Love.
And yeah, well, like it's just becoming this ongoing like thing of feuding between the person in the ring and the Titantron. Um Basically, Bret Hart's like, I'm finished with you to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. He's like, you'd have to kill me to be finished with me.
Amazing.
He's like, you can bring Bret, you can bring Owen, tell him to bring a crowbar because they're gonna need it to get my ass off of you. And
So good.
you're like, Jesus.
You'll have to
Um,
kill me to be finished with me is crazy.
mm-hmm. I love that.
Crazy. And I literally wrote energy.
And
Like
it's
I'm
amazing.
telling you, if we're beefing,
Mm-hmm.
we're beefing till
Yo.
the bitter end. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just, which by the way, this is like really not important, but it's important to me sometimes. I looked it up while we were watching. Stone Cold is a Sagittarius, which is that is very that energy.
Right, right,
Mutable
right.
fire sign. He's like, you'll literally I'll have to be dead in my grave for this to be done with us.
Right. Right.
Love.
100%.
Love that
Um,
energy.
then he talks about like just kicking Bret's ass, and he's just like, I would love to kick his like pink and black ass all over again. He's
So good.
so good, so amazing. Um, and he goes like, you know, he does his Stone Cold things like that's the bottom line. His music hits, and that's that on that because, damn, I love that man. I really do. He's really doing really like ascending into his character, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing because when he goes like to the corner and like, stands and like cheers towards the crowd or whatever, it's they're not like 100% there, but they're like pretty close. Because there were still a few people who were like boo or whatever,
Right.
but most of them are like
On board.
crazy. And even like the people in the front row had like a huge poster that said Stone Cold rules.
Right.
And then there was like another person there too that said like, hey Brett, like Stone Cold never said I quit.
Right.
They're
So
like
yeah,
they're the Avengers are assembling. They're assembling.
Right. There
Like,
well, you can see like he's really like getting like hot as far as like the fans' attention goes. Like he's
it's so
really like the one
amazing.
that they're like, "Oh, like that's my racehorse." You know what I mean? Um
Fully. Oh my God, yeah. And it's just like crazy and so amazing to see this because we literally started this after he won King of the Ring.
right. I know.
Like, so wild to see where we've ended up so far, like how
Yeah,
far he's come.
that and just like think of like the like tonal shift in the show from when we started to where we are now is
It's
like
crazy.
it's so different, but
So different.
it's amazing. So in our main event, we have Bret Hart taking on Rocky Maivia for the Intercontinental Championship. This match kind of came about because Bret Hart attacked Rocky Maivia last week, just kind of on a whim because he was just feeling a little frisky, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it is announced that next week during this match, we're gonna have, or during Raw, we're gonna see Psycho Sid taking on Mankind. Uh, and this match it's serving two purposes. One, it is the opportunity for Bret to kind of like act more of the heel in wrestling matches, which we don't necessarily see too much. This is like the
Mm-hmm.
first, or this is how we're being introduced to him kind of working as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
And it is to allow Rocky to put on a match with somebody who is of the caliber of like Bret Hart.
Yes.
So it's a twofold. It's a hey, let's elevate Rocky by showing that he can contend with Bret, and it's also like hey, let's make sure that we know Bret's bad. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the end game of this match. It's very well contested between the two. Obviously, Bret Hart could have a match with like a broomstick and it would probably look great. Not to take anything away
So
from
true.
Rocky Maivia, but
Of
because
course.
Rocky Maivia is so athletic and um just so talented generally, like it just works. Like Brett has so much to work with as far as like Rocky is concerned.
Yeah,
Um
so true.
so basically Brett's putting in work on Rocky. At one point, uh we are now seeing what is like essentially Brett's like new favorite finisher, way to end a match, way to cripple, is that figure four on the ring post, which
Oof.
he just doesn't let go of, which causes the disqualification.
Yep.
And then after that is just complete chaos once again, because that's the name of the game in the
Mm-hmm.
WWF. So Stone Cold comes out, attacks Brett, and then the entire Hart Foundation comes out also, attacks Steve Austin, and then the Legion of Doom comes out and chases them all out of the building. And it is amazing. It is
Which is,
amazing. It is
yeah,
amazing.
it's
So
amazing. A big, like 10 out of 10.
yeah. So that's really the end of this one. Again, we're barreling towards the In Your House pay-per-view. We're moving along some plot points, tying up some loose ends in this one. We got the reformation of the Hart Foundation, which is fantastic. Super excited for that.
Really
And
crazy.
Paul Bearer got his finally. So
Ugh.
and the Honky Tonk Man got his. So
I
literally
mean,
numbers 1 and 2 on your list. Like,
no, literally. I mean, I really, I'm feeling brand new. It's
mm,
spring. I'm reborn again. Honky Tonk Man's guitar lays in ashes. Paul
amazing.
Bear will have a black eye from whatever happened, and like we don't know yet what happened with the Undertaker in terms of the possible third degree burns on his retinas, but
Right.
love to see Paul get his, love to see Honky Tonk Man get his. I'm very curious about the reformation of the Hart Foundation. I'm really like I'm so curious now, like where this is all going, and like LOD and their match with Bulldog and Owen. Like I'm just very, very excited about this. This was a goodie.
I no, I agree. And I think uh we're kind of getting like the structure that we can kind of come to get used to. It's just a lot more chaotic than it was when we started this show. There's just a lot more happening and there's a
Thank
lot
God.
more it's we're getting I don't want to say less focused on like the in-ring stuff, but really as we know, the only reason people I don't want to say the only reason. A big part of the reason why people care about what's happening in the ring is the story, and we're getting better at the story. So, Win-win on all parts.
That's a very good point.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode of the New to Wrestling podcast.
And this is so thrilling because we are doing a teeny tidbit episode on Paul Heyman's speech from his Hall of Fame induction
All right.
in ECW.
All right, guys. So you'll have a little extra mini episode from us talking about Paul Heyman, and we'll catch you next time.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.